the jungle was quiet, too quiet. Jake, a young human soldier, walked carefully through the green alien forest. His boots crushed small, glowing plants with every step. The air was thick, and the trees were tall and strange. He had never seen plants move slightly on their own like that, but he didn't stop. His mission was simple: explore the area after his ship crashed, wait for rescue, stay alive. But deep inside, Jake felt something was watching him. He stopped near a large tree and turned slowly. Nothing. Just the wind. Just the glowing bugs. Just the trees. Then he heard it. Footsteps, soft, quick, and light. Not human. He quickly ducked behind a tree and held his breath. From the bushes, someone appeared. It wasn't a soldier. It wasn't a beast. It was a girl. But not just any girl. She was alien. Her skin shimmered like silver. Her eyes were big, glowing softly, and filled with something strange: fear and curiosity. Her long white hair moved like silk in the wind. She wore a thin cloak with symbols Jake couldn't read. Jake's eyes widened. She looked ... beautiful, but also lost. She didn't see him yet. She was looking around nervously. Then she took a deep breath and stepped forward, slowly, like she was searching for someone. Then suddenly, her eyes locked on Jake. He froze. She didn't scream. She didn't run. Instead, she stepped closer. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Jake raised his hands, slowly to show he wasn't dangerous. She blinked, her eyes full of emotion. Her lips moved, but no words came out. Then, finally, in a soft, broken voice, she said, "I watch you, ... every day." Jake's heart skipped a beat. "What?" he whispered. But before he could ask anything else, she turned around and ran. Fast. "Wait," Jake shouted, chasing a few steps forward, but she had already vanished into the trees like a ghost. He stood there, confused. What just happened? Why was an alien girl watching him? And why did she look so sad? That night Jake sat alone near a small fire. The jungle around him was quiet again, too quiet. The stars above were bright. He couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about her. That girl. That moment. That voice. Then he noticed something strange. His bag was open. He didn't remember opening it. He reached inside and felt something smooth and cold. It was a pendant, round, glowing, and marked with the same alien symbols the girl had on her cloak. Jake had never seen it before. He held it up. Suddenly, the pendant lit up and projected a holographic image, the alien girl's face. She looked nervous. Her voice came. Again, "I wanted to say it, but I was afraid you'd laugh." Then the image faded. Jake stared at the pendant in shock. What did she want to say? And why leave him this? He couldn't understand it, but deep inside, he felt something pulling him. Like this wasn't just a meeting by chance. Something bigger was happening. He stood up, holding the pendant tight. "I need to find her again," he whispered to himself. But far above, in the sky, something else moved. A large alien ship hovered silently behind the clouds. Its scanners were locked on Jake. The next morning, Jake returned to the spot where they met. He looked around carefully, calling out softly, "Hey, ... are you here? I just want to talk." Silence. Then, from behind a tree, she appeared again, the same girl. She stepped closer this time, hands shaking. Jake smiled gently. "You left this with me," he said, showing the pendant. Her eyes widened. "Kept it, ... double quotes. I want to understand," he said. "Why are you watching me?" She looked down, took a shaky breath, and whispered something he didn't fully hear. Then she stepped even closer, just a foot away from him. "I'm not supposed to be here," she said. "My people don't talk to yours." Jake frowned. "Then why did you?" She looked into his eyes. 'Cause I feel something when I see you. Something I don't understand. She reached out, almost touching his face. Jake didn't move. The moment felt ... unreal. Then, out of nowhere, she whispered, "I love you." Jake's eyes widened. "What?" She gasped, covered her mouth, turned bright red, and ran again. This time, she didn't run into the jungle. She ran into the sky. Her small ship, uncloaked from above, opened silently, and she disappeared inside. The ship zoomed up fast, vanishing behind the clouds. Jake stood there alone, heart pounding, mind racing. What just happened? Jake couldn't sleep that night. His eyes stayed open, staring at the stars. His mind replayed the moment over and over again. The alien girl's glowing eyes, her soft voice, and the words she said before running away. "I love you." Why would an alien say that to a human? She didn't even know him, or did she? Jake sat up and looked at the pendant again. It was small, round, and glowed with a soft blue light. Alien symbols were carved all around it. It didn't feel heavy. Somehow it felt important. He pressed the small crystal button on its side. Suddenly, the pendant floated in the air and lit up. A holographic message appeared. It was her again, the same alien girl. Her voice trembled. "If you are hearing this, Kay, then I was brave enough to give it to you." Jake leaned in, watching closely. "I didn't plan to talk to you," the message continued, "but I couldn't stop myself. I watched you for many days. I saw how you helped the animals, how you fixed your broken ship, how you sat alone but still smiled. I wanted to say hello, but I was afraid." She paused, her eyes looking down. "I've never spoken to a human before. We are not allowed to. You don't know me, but I know you. And I think I started to feel something." Her voice became even softer. "But then I said something I wasn't ready to say. I didn't mean to speak it out loud, but it came from my heart." Jake's chest felt heavy. The message ended. The pendant went dark. He sat there, holding it tight. That wasn't just a gift. It was a piece of her soul. The next day, Jake tried to find her again. He returned to the same place in the jungle. Trees were quiet. The wind was gentle. "Hello?" he called softly. "Are you there? I just want to talk." No answer. He waited hours past. Nothing. But then, just as he was about to leave, he heard the soft hum of something landing nearby. A small silver drone floated down. It stopped a few feet in front of him and beeped. Then it projected another message. This time it was a video live. The alien girl appeared again. Her face looked sad. "Why did you come back?" she asked. Jake stepped closer. "Because I want to know more." She looked down. "I broke the rules. I spoke to a human. I gave you a pendant. I said something I shouldn't have," Jake said calmly. "You said something honest." She looked up at him. "Do you hate me?" Jake shook his head. "Okay. No, I'm just confused." "Why me? Why did you choose to watch me?" She took a long breath. "'Cause you looked kind and alone, like me." There was silence. Then, suddenly, the screen went black. The drone beeped loudly and flew away fast, like it was running. Jake turned around. A tall alien soldier stood behind him, not like the girl. This one was armored with a weapon in hand. His eyes were sharp and cold. "Step back," the alien said in a deep voice. "You were not meant to speak with her." Jake raised his hands. "I didn't mean any harm. She broke protocol," the soldier said. "And you are part of the problem now." Before Jake could reply, a loud boom echoed above. A large ship descended through the clouds. Lights shone everywhere. More soldiers came down on flying platforms. Jake was surrounded, but before they could take him, a female voice shouted from above. "Stop!" It was her. The alien girl stood at the ship's door, her eyes full of fear and strength. "I will speak," she said. "This is my choice." All the soldiers stopped moving. Jake looked at her, confused. She floated down slowly and walked up to him. "I didn't tell you everything," she whispered. "Where I come from, if we say the words I said to you, it is not just love, okay? It's a vow?" Jake blinked. "A vow?" "Yes," she said. "Those words mean a promise of bonding. It's for life." His heart skipped a beat. "And now," she continued, "the council knows. They will come for me. They will judge me. And they will ask you to decide." "Decide what?" Jake asked, confused and a little scared. "To accept the vow. Or break it. But if it is broken, I will be exiled forever." Jake looked at her face. She wasn't just scared. She was serious. Tease and her eyes told him everything. She had risked everything just to tell him how she felt. Before he could speak, her ship started beeping. Warning lights flashed. "They found us," she said. "They are locking on. I have to go." She ran back toward the ship. Jake reached out. "Wait." She looked back, tears in her eyes. "I hope you choose me," she whispered. Then she flew away again. The jungle was quiet once more. Jake stood alone, holding the pendant. His heart was pounding. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he knew this was just the beginning. Jake stood alone in the jungle. The sky above was calm. Now the ship was gone. The alien girl, Yari, had left again. But this time, she had told him something important. Her words were still fresh in his mind. "In my world, saying I love you is a vow, a life bond." Jake had never heard anything like this before. On Earth, love was a feeling, but in her world, it was law. Suddenly, Jake heard a buzzing sound. He turned and saw 3 small flying drones surrounding him. Before he could react, a bright beam of light came from above and pulled him up. He tried to struggle, but it was no use. Within seconds, he was inside a large alien ship. Jake found himself in a round, silver room. The walls were glowing, and the air smelled clean but strange. He looked around. There were no windows, just silence. Then the doors opened. 2 tall alien guards entered. Okay. Their faces were hidden behind glass helmets. They said nothing. They nodded and motioned for Jake to follow. Jake followed them down a long hallway. They entered a huge courtroom. Looked nothing like a human court. The walls were crystal. A floating platform stood in the center. Around it sat tall alien figures wearing robes of different colors. At the top was the High Speaker, an elder alien with glowing golden eyes. Jake stood on the center platform, confused. Then, to his surprise, Liari walked in from the other side. Her hands were tied and her head was down. Jake's heart ached. The High Speaker raised a hand and everyone went silent. "Human," the speaker said, "do you understand why you are here?" Jake took a deep breath. "No, I was just exploring. She came to me." "You were not just exploring," the speaker said. "Okay. You received a bond vow from one of our kind." Jake looked at Liari. She looked back at him with sad eyes. "She told me," Jake said softly, "but I didn't know what it meant." "In our world," the speaker said, "those words are sacred. Spoken to someone, a connection is formed. The vow is for life." Jake stepped forward, "But I didn't say it back." "That is why you are here," said another alien from the council. "To choose." Jake blinked. "Choose. You must either accept the bond or reject it. If you accept, you will live among us. If you reject, she will be punished for breaking tradition." Jake was shocked. "Punished?" The speaker nodded. "She will be exiled forever," Liari whispered. "I didn't care about the rules. I felt something real." Jake looked at her. His mind was spinning. Everything had changed so fast. One moment, He was a soldier on a broken mission. Now, he was standing in an alien court, being asked to decide someone's future. He didn't speak right away. Then, the speaker raised a hand again. "We give you time to think, Tay, but not much." Suddenly, the floor shook. Everyone looked up. An explosion echoed through the ship. Red lights flashed. Alarms started ringing. A guard ran in. "We're under attack." Unknown ship approaching. The speaker stood. "Protect the court." Jake grabbed Liari's hand without thinking. "Come with me," Pushy began. "No time," he said. He pulled her through the side doors as the guards rushed toward the control room. Smoke filled the hallway. Fire sparks burst from the walls. Something was hitting the ship from outside. They found a small escape tunnel and slid down together. Jake landed hard on a platform. Liari landed beside him, coughing. She looked at him. "Why did you take me?" Jake answered. "Because no one deserves to be punished for telling the truth." She smiled weakly. "Still haven't made your choice." Jake looked into her glowing eyes. "I don't know what to say," he whispered, "but I don't want to lose you." Her hand touched his. "Then maybe you already chose." Just then, a voice came through the speakers. "Attention, escape pod launching in 10 seconds. Jake and Liari jumped into a small silver pod. The door closed behind them. With a loud boom, the pod shot out into space. They floated silently for minutes, away from the fire, away from the court. Jake looked out the tiny window. Liari sat beside him, quiet. He finally spoke. "What happens now?" She looked at him gently. "Now, we wait. The council will follow us. They will ask again. But next time, your answer will decide everything." Jake nodded outside. The stars passed by. Somewhere behind them, a war was starting, but inside the small pod, between a human and an alien girl. Something else had already begun. The escape pod floated in the dark silence of space. Inside, Jake sat with his back against the wall, breathing slowly. The stars outside looked calm, but his heart was still racing. He had just escaped an alien court. He had just saved an alien girl, and now he was trapped in a small metal bubble with her, floating between galaxies. Liari sat on the other side, her hands in her lap. Her silver hair glowed softly in the low light. She wasn't crying, but her eyes looked heavy, like she was holding a secret too big to carry. For a while, they said nothing. Then Jake broke the silence. "Liari, you knew this could happen, that they'd arrest you, that they'd come after you. So why did you still say it? Why tell me you love me?" She looked up at him. "Because I had to." Jake leaned forward. "Why? Why risk your life for a human you barely know?" Laya took a deep breath. Her voice was quiet. "Because don't just know you. I was sent to watch you." Jake blinked. "Hide. I was part of a hidden mission," she continued. "Months ago, our leaders told us to study Earth soldiers, to understand how your people fight, think, love. My job was to observe without being seen. So I was your target." She shook her head quickly. "At first, yes, but then something changed. I saw how you acted when no one was watching. You weren't just brave, you were kind. You helped a wounded bird when you were injured. You gave water to your enemies after battle. You looked up at the stars like you were missing someone." Jake didn't know what to say. "I stopped sending reports," Liari admitted. "I deleted the files. God, I wasn't spying anymore. I was falling." "Falling?" Jake asked. She nodded slowly. "I'm falling in love." Jake leaned back, silent. His heart was full of questions. But one thing was clear now. She wasn't just some alien girl. She was part of something much bigger. After some time, the escape pod's lights blinked. A soft voice spoke from the speaker. "Life support stable. Distance from courtship, 450 kilometers. No ships nearby." Jake sighed. We're alone. Liari looked out the window. Not for long. They'll find us again. My people don't let bonds happen with outsiders. The council will try to erase this connection. Jake clenched his fists. Why? It's just a feeling. A choice. No, Liari said, turning to him. In my world, love is not small. It is power. Changes. Your path. It connects souls. Our leaders fear what they can't control. Jake looked at her carefully. And your family? What will they do? She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, my father is a general. He leads the High Fleet. He would rather see me erased than bonded to a human. Jake's eyes widened. You're the daughter of a high general. She nodded. I hid my name. I hid my past. I didn't want you to see me as one of them. I wanted you to see me as just a girl, just Liari. Jake stood up and paced the small pod. Everything was spinning in his mind. She was not only from the enemy side, she was their leader's daughter. If Earth found out, they'd use her as a weapon. If her people found out, they'd punish her for betrayal. Why tell me this now? Jake asked. Because you need to know who I am before you decide, she said softly. If you choose me, you'll become a target for both sides. Earth may not trust you. My people definitely won't. Jake looked at her. So, what should I do? Liari stood up and walked closer to him. Follow your heart. That's all. I did. I had every reason to stay away. But I didn't. Because something about you felt okay. Jake looked into her glowing eyes. He could see pain, but also hope. She pulled something from her cloak. A small silver disc. This is a memory drive, she said. It holds the truth. Every message I sent. Every time I refused an order. Everything they'll use against me. She handed it to him. If I'm taken, you'll have proof. Jake held the drive in his hand. It was small, but heavy with truth. A beep sounded again from the pod. The screen lit up. An alien ship was approaching. Fast. They found us, Liari whispered. Jake looked at the drive, then at her. I'm not giving you up, he said. But they'll take me anyway, she replied. Unless. What? Jake asked. She looked at the escape pod's controls. Lest we go somewhere they can't follow. There's a zone beyond the starfield. No patrols. No laws. Jake nodded slowly. Then take us there, she smiled. Just a little. Okay? But once we cross the line. Okay? But once we going back. Jake looked at her and said, I already crossed that line when you said I love you. The escape pod flew fast through open space. Jake and Liari sat quietly, both staring at the screen, showing the starfield ahead. They had only one goal. Now to cross into the forbidden zone. A dark space where no law or patrol existed. Behind them, the enemy ship was still chasing, but Jake's thoughts were no longer just about running. He kept looking at the memory drive Liari had given him. It held the truth, proof that she had disobeyed her people. Proof of her feelings, and maybe proof that she was not the enemy. Suddenly, the screen beeped again. A new signal appeared. From Earth Command. Jake tapped the button. A human officer appeared on the small display. Soldier Jake, confirm your status. Jake sat up. Says Jake, I'm alive. I'm in an alien escape pod with one passenger. Name of the passenger. The officer asked. Jake hesitated. Liari. The officer's face changed. He looked serious now. Is she the daughter of General Vexer? Jake's heart dropped. Yes, but she's not the enemy. She helped me. She, the officer, cut him off. Return immediately. That girl is a high-value target. Do not trust her. She saved me. She gave me classified information that can prove she betrayed her side for peace. Soldier, listen carefully, the officer said, coldly. Your orders are to secure the girl. We will extract her from you once your pod is under our control. Then the message ended. The screen went black. Jake sat in silence. Liari was watching him. Her voice was quiet. They're not going to protect you. They want to use me. Jake nodded. I know. He stood up and began typing into the pod's control panel. He changed the coordinates deeper into the forbidden zone. Are you sure about this? Liari asked. Jake looked at her. Earth thinks you're a weapon. Your people think I'm a mistake. Both sides are wrong. I'm not letting either of them control our future. Liari smiled softly. You sound more alien than human. Jake chuckled. Maybe that's a good thing. But just then, the pod shook. The alien ship behind them had fired a warning shot. A robotic voice inside the pod spoke. Warning. Coming transmission from High Fleet Commander. Jake looked at Liari. Her face had turned pale. It's my father, she whispered. The screen turned on. A tall alien figure appeared. Dark armor, glowing red eyes, and a deep, cold voice. Liari, he said, you have brought shame to our name. Return now, and the human may live. Liari stood tall. No, father. I followed my heart, not your orders. The general's voice became sharper. This human is clouding your mind. He does not belong with us. If you return now, your bond can't be broken and your punishment reduced. Jake stepped forward. I'm not letting her go. Not to you, not to anyone. The general looked at him. Then you'll both be hunted. There will be no peace for either of you. The screen went black again. Liari's hands trembled. He'll never stop. Jake placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we'll keep going. Suddenly, a new alarm rang inside the pod. A second ship was approaching. Earth's military vessel. They were now trapped between two forces. One human, one alien. Both prepared to capture them. Jake's voice was calm but firm. They're not here to save us. They're here to take control. Kari nodded. We need to disappear. Now. Kai hit the emergency override. The pod turned sharply and dove into the black region ahead, the no signal zone, where no radar or ship could track them. Everything outside turned dark. The stars vanished. The screen went quiet. For a few minutes, there was silence. No enemies, no commands. Just the sound of the pod moving. Jake leaned back and closed his eyes. We did it. We escaped. Liari didn't look calm. She was staring at the drive-in, Jake's hand. There's something I didn't tell you, she said. Jake opened his eyes. What? Liari took a breath. Hush. That drive doesn't just hold my memory logs. It also has something else. A secret project. My father was building a weapon, one that could destroy Earth's defense systems in seconds. Jake's eyes widened. And you gave it to me. She nodded. 'Cause I knew he'd use it someday. I wanted to stop him before it was too late. Jake looked at the small silver disc again. It was no longer just proof of her love. It was now the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. We need to hide, Jake said. And we need to find someone we can trust. But who? Liari asked. Everyone we know has betrayed us. Jake thought for a moment. Then he smiled. I might know someone, he said. But first, stay alive. The pod disappeared into the dark zone, leaving behind warships, betrayal, and broken orders. They had no map, no army, only each other. The dark zone was silent. No stars, no lights, no signals, just endless black space, like a sea of shadows. Inside their small pod, Jake and Liari floated without direction. No one could track them here. Not Earth, not the High Fleet, not even Liari's powerful father. But time was running out. The oxygen levels were dropping. Power was low. They couldn't stay hidden forever. Jake stood near the control panel, trying to rewire the pod systems. We need a safe place, he said. Somewhere to land. Somewhere to breathe. Liari sat beside him, her fingers wrapped around the silver drive. There's a place, she whispered. A moon. abandoned, used long ago as a research post by my people. It might still have shelter. Jake looked at her. Can we reach it before the pod dies? Liari nodded slowly. We glide rest of the way and use the emergency boosters at the end. Jake smiled. Then let's go. The pod turned toward the moon, which barely showed as a shadow against the blackness. They drifted silently, saving energy. Every minute felt longer. Then the last. Finally, the pod shook as it entered the thin atmosphere of the forgotten moon with a loud thud. They landed. Jake and Liari quickly opened the hatch and stepped outside. The surface was rocky and gray, but there were old alien buildings nearby, broken, empty, but still standing. They ran to the largest one and entered. The air inside was thin, but breathable. A backup power core flickered weakly in the walls. Jake looked around. We'll be safe here, for now. Liari nodded, but her eyes were worried. Jake noticed. What's wrong? Okay, we'll come, she said. My father, your leaders, they'll never stop. The drive you carry, it's too powerful. Jake pulled the small disc from his pocket. We need to give it to someone who wants peace, not war. Kari looked up. Then we must go back, but not alone. They spent the next few hours fixing an old transmitter inside the building. It was weak, but it could send one short message. Jake typed carefully to Captain Rael, Sector 9. Jake here. I need help. Trust no one. Come alone. Bring transport. Coordinates attached. Liari watched him. Who is Rael? Jake smiled. He's a smuggler, but he helped me once during a rescue mission. He doesn't care about sides. He only helps people who do the right thing. They waited hours past. Then, sound. A soft hum above the building. Jake ran outside. A small black ship hovered above the ground. It was old, rusty, and strange looking, but real. A ramp opened. A man stepped out. Rough beard, one cyber eye, and a long coat. Jake, he said. Jake smiled. Rael, you came. I always do, Rael said. Then his eyes scanned Liari. That the alien girl everyone's hunting? Jake nodded. She's the reason I'm alive. Rael grunted. Then get on, fast. We're not safe here. As they entered the ship, alarms suddenly went off. Rael's ship, eh? I shouted. 2 vessels approaching fast. 1 human. 8. 1 alien. Weapons ready. Jake looked at Liari. They found us. Kita, hold tight. The ship blasted off the ground just as 2 bright lights appeared in the sky. Laser beams shot down at the moon, exploding the building they had just left. Jake held Liari's hand tight. That could have been us. Rael turned. Whoever she is, it's worth a lot of trouble. She's worth everything, Jake said. In the sky, they flew fast toward a hidden safe zone. Rael knew a belt of magnetic storms that blocked tracking inside the ship. Okay. Jake handed Rael the memory drive. This holds the plans to a super weapon. And proof. Liari tried to stop it. We need it protected. Rael raised his brow. And what were you to do? Jake looked at Liari. She said, we will go back to face the council. Jake added, we're going to speak the truth together. Krail smirked. Crazy plan. I like it. Later, near the storm belt, Rael dropped them off in a stealth shuttle. He promised to spread the truth using the drive across both sides. Quietly, carefully, Jake and Liari flew alone once again, but not as outcasts. This time, they flew as fighters, not with weapons, but with truth. As they approached alien territory again, Liari spoke softly. If they take me, don't fight. Just survive. Jake looked at her. No, this time we face them as one. If I lose you again, I lose myself. Liari took his hand. Then, whatever comes, we face it. Together, a ship entered. Enemy space. Warning lights blinked. Missiles locked on, but neither of them turned back. The sky was full of fire. Jake and Lyari's small shuttle shook as it entered alien space. Giant ships surrounded them, dark and silent, like monsters waiting to strike. Lights blinked, missiles locked, voices shouted on the comms. Unidentified craft, stand down. You're entering restricted airspace. Jake held the controls. Tight, just a little closer, he whispered. Liari sat beside him, her hand cold but steady. They're afraid. They think we're here to attack. We're not, Jake said. We're here to tell the truth. Just as the first warning shot blasted past them, a familiar voice echoed in the speakers, deep and cold. This is General Vexer. Prepare to be boarded. No resistance will be tolerated. Lyara closed her eyes. My father is here. Jake looked at her. We don't run this time. The shuttle was pulled into a tractor beam and dragged toward the largest ship, the High Fleet Command vessel. They were taken into a bright metal chamber, surrounded by armed guards. Jake raised his hands. Liari didn't move. General Vexer stood in front of them, taller than everyone, his red eyes glowing with anger. He looked at Liari with disappointment. You were my daughter. Liari stood tall. I still am, but I will not follow your hate. He turned to Jake. You poisoned her mind. Jake stepped forward. No, I showed her what peace looks like. Vexer raised his hand. Your bond is illegal. Your presence is a crime. This ends now. But before he could give the final command, a voice from behind shouted, Wait. Everyone turned. From the shadows, a council elder stepped forward. He was old, his eyes tired, but his voice still strong. I demand a public hearing, the elder said. This is not just about a soldier and a girl. This is about a choice that may change the future of two worlds. General Vexer frowned, but nodded. Let it be done. One last time. They were taken to the great hall, a massive room filled with leaders, soldiers, and watchers from every level of alien society. Floating screens showed images of Earth, of battles, and of the bond symbol glowing between Jake and Liari's palms. The high speaker stood in the center. You have come before us with a forbidden connection, he said. You knew the rules. You broke them, but now we give you one chance. He looked at Jake. You may choose to accept the bond with Liari. If you do, she becomes yours, and both of you will be exiled to the edge of the galaxy, never to return. Gasps echoed in the room. The speaker turned to Liari. And if he refuses, you will be judged alone. The bond will be broken. You will be erased from the records. Jake's heart pounded. This was it. The final choice. He looked at Liari. Her eyes were calm. She didn't beg. She didn't plead. She only waited, brave and silent. Jake turned back to the council. Before I decide, let me say something. The room fell silent. I came to your world by accident. I was lost, injured, alone. Then I met Liari. She didn't just watch me. She saved me. She protected me. She believed in something better. Key held up the silver drive. This contains the truth about her father's plans, about the weapon, and about the peace she tried to make. He looked around the room. I don't care about power. I don't care about war. I care about her. If that means exile, I accept. He turned to Liari. I choose you. Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. A real, peaceful smile. Then, to everyone's shock, she stepped forward and held his hand. A soft blue light glowed between them. The bond seal, alive and unbreakable. Gasps turned into whispers. The high speaker looked down. So be it. They were taken quietly to a transport ship. No more shouting, no more anger, just silence. Inside the ship, Jake looked at Liari. Are you okay? She nodded. I am now. They didn't know what world they would go to. They didn't know if they would ever return. But they had each other, and that was enough. 1 month later, in a quiet corner of the galaxy. A small planet with green skies and golden sand became their home. Jake built a shelter. Liari planted glowing flowers. They cooked together, laughed together, and watched the stars every night. Sometimes other exiles visited them, humans, aliens, even robots. All of them broken in some way, but all of them searching for something real. Jake and Liari welcomed him, and slowly, small village grew. A village built not on rules or war or power, but on love,